All right, let's get right into it. There's a new kind of war being fought, an invisible one, right in the heart of the tech world. And the weapons? They're not guns, they're not bombs. We're talking about attraction, intimacy. And the battlefield? You guessed it, it's the bedroom. So, just how serious are we talking here? Well, you don't have to take my word for it. Listen to this quote from a US intelligence insider. It's the Wild West out there. Think about that. They're not describing Silicon Valley as this amazing hub of innovation. Nope, they're calling it a lawless frontier, a place where all the old rules have just been thrown out the window. Okay, so how on earth did we get here? I mean, espionage has totally evolved. You gotta forget all those old spy movie tropes, the trench coats, the secret meetings in dark alleys. The new front line, it's intensely personal. It's all about targeting the private lives of the very people who hold America's most valuable secrets.
And look, we really need to be crystal clear about just how deep this infiltration goes. This is not about some quick fling to steal a password. No way. We're talking about state-sponsored agents playing the long, long game. I mean, they are building entire lives, marrying people, having kids with them, creating these incredibly complex webs of trust, all as the perfect cover to just slowly siphon off intellectual property year after year.
All right, so let's break this down. How do these operations actually work? Because believe me, this isn't random. It is a cold, calculated strategy, and they have a very specific playbook they follow. You've probably heard the term for this before. It's a honey trap. And yeah, it's one of the oldest tricks in the spy book for sure, but it's been given a major upgrade for the digital age. The whole goal is to take a person's completely natural desire for connection, for intimacy, and turn it into a weapon against them. And the process is just methodical and honestly pretty chilling when you lay it out. First, they pick their target, someone with access to something valuable. Then, step 2, they put in the time. We're talking months, sometimes years, to gain that person's complete and total trust. Step 3, that's when they start the slow, subtle process of pulling out secrets. And then finally, when the mission's done, the agent just vanishes. Gone. Leaving behind a wake of total personal and professional devastation. So, where are these spies hunting for their targets? Well, pretty much exactly where you'd think. They're on dating apps with these super attractive, totally believable fake profiles. They're at tech conferences, networking. They'll even pose as a fellow startup employee, or maybe a visiting researcher. Anything to make their approach feel completely natural, completely organic. Okay, so we know the method is the honey trap, but the two main players here, Russia and China, they're using it for very different reasons. And you really have to understand their different endgames to see the whole picture. And the differences are pretty stark. You've got Russia on one side, right? Their operations tend to be aggressive, short-term. They're after political and military secrets, aiming for strategic disruption. But then you have China. They are playing the long game. Their focus is almost entirely economic. They want to steal trade secrets, nab intellectual property, anything to boost their own industries. So here's the really crucial takeaway. A Russian operation might be like a quick, disruptive punch, but China's strategy, it's more like a slow, silent bleed. They patiently embed their agents inside companies, inside families, and that can cause a loss of innovation that is just way more damaging to the economy in the long run. But this whole thing isn't just about geopolitics or corporate secrets. At its core, this is a story about human psychology. It really begs the question, why are some of the smartest people on the planet falling for these traps? And the answer, it seems, lies in the culture of Silicon Valley itself. You've got this super intense, high-pressure work environment. That kind of culture can lead to some really profound social isolation and loneliness. And that emotional vulnerability, that's the crack in the armor. That's exactly what these foreign agents are trained to find and exploit. And this is really what makes the whole tactic so incredibly insidious. The spy doesn't just become a lover. No, they become the target's best friend, their most trusted confidant, their number one supporter. They're literally filling an emotional void. And once they've created that dependency, asking for just a little favor or, hey, can I get a peek at that work project? It just seems like a totally normal thing to ask in a trusting relationship. Which really brings us to a critical question, doesn't it? When a spy builds an entire life with someone, gets married, has kids, and then just vanishes when the mission is over, what was actually stolen? Was it just the company's intellectual property? Or was it the victim's entire life? The damage here goes so much deeper than just corporate secrets. So what can be done? What's the big takeaway here? Well, experts have some pretty clear and urgent warnings for anyone working in tech. And the bottom line is this: your personal security is no longer separate from your company's security. They're one and the same now. And the advice is very direct. First, just be aware that these seduction traps actually exist. You have to be cautious if a new partner seems way too interested in your job, especially if they keep probing for sensitive info. Another huge red flag: if your partner suddenly comes into a lot of unexplained money. You have to understand that line between your personal life and your work security, it's been totally erased. And this is exactly why this is so important. All it takes is one person. Just one. One compromised employee, one single moment of misplaced trust, and that can put an entire company, years of research, and even national security at risk. The whole system is only as strong as its most vulnerable link. So I'll leave you with this final thought. In a world where our personal and our professional lives are more tangled up than ever, and so much of it is lived online, this kind of warfare is only going to become more common. So the real question isn't just for tech workers in Silicon Valley. It's for all of us. How secure is your online life really?